All right, lesson 5 of chapter 8, surface area of cone. So you should have learned by now that whatever we seem to do with a cylinder, next lesson we're going to be doing the same thing with a cone. All right, so the last lesson we talked about surface area of a cylinder, which was top, bottom, and sides. So this one's a little bit different, only in the fact that it doesn't really have a top, does it? Cones go to a point, or bottom, depends on how you look at it, if it's point up or point down. But it only has one. It only has one circle. So the volume of a cone is 1/3 the volume of a cylinder. It would be nice to say that the surface area of a cone is only 1/3, but it's not quite that easy. So they do give you a new formula. They actually introduce a new measurement, and that's this L right here. It's called a slant height. And it's not just an L, because what would you think of if I said, what's that dimension? You would think of length. So this is actually like a cursive L. And it's the slant height. So it's a slant height of that. So it would be from the base to the tip, that side length right there. All right? So if I want to know, again, lateral surface area is just this stuff on the sides. And most often times whenever you're talking about a cone, that's the part you're talking about anyway. Like ice cream cones, like waffle cones, they're hollow on the inside. So that wouldn't be anything right there anyway. Party hats, there's nothing there. That's where your head goes. So most oftentimes when you're talking about a cone, you are talking about lateral only. That's what you're talking about. All right, so let's talk about this, shall we? Find the lateral area of the cone round to the nearest tenth. So if this is our formula, pi RL, that's something that you need to memorize. Well, hopefully you can memorize it. If not, at least make sure you have it in your notes several times. That way you can refer back to it. And write down what these things mean. Obviously, pi means pi. R is radius. Sure, you can guess that. L is the slant height. So even if they were to give you this measurement right there, and who knows, on ISAP Park, they may do that to see if you know which measurement to use. That is not it. That is not what you use. All right? So you need to know pi, 3.14, times the radius, which is 5, times the slant height, which is 13. So using my trusty calculator, 5 times 3.14 times the slant height, it's supposed to be a 13, sorry, times 13. 204.1, 204.1. So the difference in the pi there would give us that 204.1. It's still area, it's lateral surface area. So you're still going to have a label, a label that is squared. So 204.1 millimeters square, or square millimeters. That's it. Not too bad, right? You just have to know and be able to plug in numbers. Really, formulas, especially for area, you just have to be able to plug in numbers. But the most important part is you just got to plug in the right numbers. All right. So got it. Find the lateral area of a cone with a radius of 4 inches and a slant height of 9.5. Go ahead and try that one, please. Okay, lateral surface area. Lateral surface area. My pen back. Pi R L. Filling in the blanks. 3.14 times the radius, which is 4, times the slant height, which is 9.5. Now, if I wanted to just go ahead and do this one, it's going to be the same. Pi R L, pi, 3.14, times the radius, which is, well, it says the diameter is 16, so make sure you're changing that. Make sure you pay careful attention. Don't just look and say, oh, these are the two numbers, that has to be it. Slow down and pay attention. So radius would be 8 times the slant height, which is 10. So going back to A, we would have 3.14 times 4 times 9.5. I get 119.32. 119 rounded to the nearest tenth. 119.3 inches squared. This one, 3.14 times 8 times, Come on. Let's just try that over. It's not liking that part. Let's try it again. 3.14 times 8 times 10. 251. 251.2 centimeters cubed. Come on, pen. Centimeters cubed. Now, on the first one, if you use the pi button, you would have got 119.4, and this one you would have got 251.3. Sorry, that is not cubed. Why did I write that? Someone please tell me that you were yelling into your iPad. No, you have the wrong label. It's area, so it's always squared. Sorry for any confusion for that split second. Okay, so with that, let's move it. Surface area. So we already know how to find lateral surface area. So then what's the difference? If you can find all of this, on the outside, what's the only difference? Well, the only difference would be adding that circle to the bottom. So it's still my pi RL that I just did plus pi r squared. Now what is that? Well, that's just the formula for the area of a circle. So total surface area, pi RL, which will give you the lateral, and then pi r squared, which will give you the circle. And you just add the two pieces together. That part makes sense, right? Take one part and just add the other part to it. That will give you a total. It says you can find the surface area of a cone using a net. So I think that this is probably more confusing because really this looks like a quarter of a circle. We really don't have a formula for the quarter of a circle, but I mean, you do what you want to do with that. Some people see it easier if they can see it broken down, and that's fine. Let's look at example 2. Find the surface area of the cone round to the nearest tenth. So lateral surface area, pi RL, pi times radius times 6.2, okay, plus pi times radius squared. That will give you the area of the circle at the bottom, pi times radius squared, so pi times 36. Add those two things together. It comes out to right at about 230 square inches. 230 square inches. So same formula as we have been using. They're just putting them together. So I want you to pause it and try C, please. All right, find the surface area of the cone round to the nearest tenth. So let's do lateral surface area first. Lateral surface area, pi r L, 3.14 times radius of 4.5 times slant height. Even though it's kind of laying down, it's still going to be that slanted side right there, which happens to be 20. So lateral surface area, 3.14 times 4.5 times 20. So I get 282.6. That's the lateral surface area. Now I need to find the area of the circle at the bottom. So the area of the circle at the bottom, pi times radius squared. 3.14 times radius is 4.5. 4.5 squared. So clearing that out, I've got 4.5 times itself times 3.14. 63.585. Again, leave all the digits there and only round your final answer. Otherwise, you're just taking the rounding error and amplifying it, making it a little more off and a little more off every time. All right, so adding those two things together, 63.585 plus my lateral surface area of 282.6 gives me a total surface area rounded to the nearest tenth of 346.2 millimeters squared. Okay. So with that, I think you're good. I think you're good. If you want to go ahead and pause it and try the last one, I will give you the answer. I will give you the answer to that one. If you pause it and try, this only wants lateral surface area, or does it want total surface area? Yeah, make sure you read the directions and exactly what it wants. That's what I want you to give. So it says lateral area. That means just the sides. And if you do that with the pi button, you should get 138.2 inches squared. So lateral surface area, new formula, pi RL. Bottom of it is still the same circular formula that we've used, pi times radius squared. To find lateral surface area, well, you just use that part. To find total, you just do both of them and put them together. All right? So shouldn't be too bad, but as always, come see me if you need me. Good luck.